almost done. It's going to ring off.
It's do. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, happy Friday, baby.
To a Friday.
Oh, and the kids are sleeping. Joyful.
Oh, we adore
This is the feeling of relaxation right here. I got my wife. We've got our dog. We've got studio lights. Natural. That was a pretty nice compliment you got today about our vlog and about our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
A surprise that we hadn't done it earlier.
Yes. I'm like, which one? But yeah, a surprise that we haven't done it earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, we seem very natural and our conversation seems really good. And just how but we've shared about this before. Is that
are you wanting to come up?
We might have a bulldog interview.
You're a good pup. Come on up.
She might come and join us.
Because you got out with the kids, which by itself is a little bit chaos.
Yeah, so I had a great
come
friend,
on, bulldog.
Katrina, meet up with me, and we just did a quick walk in an undisclosed location. Just kidding. I'm kidding. Totally kidding. It was outside.
Yeah, that's a joke for a story that we heard.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
Undisclosed location.
Kind of scary.
I mean, do you want to dive into that? Okay, I'll just paint a picture for you. I got a phone call today while I was driving home, and Amy was telling me about a story that she saw on Instagram through one of our close friends about a pastor's wife who was traveling, came back into Calgary.
With a negative COVID result.
Yeah, with a negative COVID fast test from the U.S.
Yeah.
Only to be picked up by unmarked police in a white van.
An AHS.
And taken to an undisclosed location.
And unable to talk to her husband while she's there. And her husband doesn't know anything, doesn't know the officer's name, all this stuff. But like the details we don't know
scary.
we don't know very much about the details. We don't even know who they are. But like hearing like kind of what I'm going to chat a little bit about is like anxiety is really high in some people. And I was listening to a podcast about anxiety today. And then when I read this story, how I experience anxiety is like all over like jitters. Like I feel like I'm having like I feel like my skin's like, I've taken like niacin, is that what it's called?
Yeah, niacin.
Niacin, where it like makes your skin like kind of feel like it's crawling. That's how anxiety comes on my body. And so I was feeling that. And so I called Alex and I was just telling him about this. I'm like, I don't know details about the situation. I don't know who these people are, like I've already shared. But it was the point of like, I put myself in, I'm so empathetic. I put myself in that woman's shoes who's a mom who just came back. She had to go fly to the States, she had to be there, came back, did everything right, everything like textbook, if you think of it that way, textbook, whatever that is now, because things change so much, and gets basically met there by Alberta Health Services and the police and says we're taking you to an undisclosed location. She calls her husband's trying to figure out like who the police officer is, who the other person that's like there escorting her. They were unable to tell, it's confidential, they were unable to say their names. And like, it was like, I got so much anxiety because I was like, holy smokes, that would be so scary. And in it, he just like, she's safe. Like, it's not like she was like abducted.
Right.
Right. But it's the fact that that's the situation that we're in at this day. And that was recent. Like, that was only a few days ago, if not today. Like, I'm not sure when the time frame was. At these, and I want, just so everyone knows, like, I'm someone that, I don't want to say I'm oblivious, but I'm very strict of what so sorry about the dishwasher. I'm very strict of what my input is. So when I start to go down a rabbit hole of like information of things that are heavy on my heart and make me very, shall I say, can go into deep depression, can go into like anxiety overload, I stop myself there until I can actually process it. And then if I desire or feel like I'm being pulled to like get more educated on the situation, I will. But in those moments, I just find that it's not healthy for my brain. It's not healthy for my moment. And that could honestly be, like, people might say like, that's so stupid, Amy, and stuff, but I don't really care. It's just, I've learned that over time because I've had years of anxiety in my body for like, I've dealt with anxiety and stress, like high volumes of it for years. And that's one way of me being able to like manage it, like, and be still an amazing mom, amazing wife, and like an amazing friend, and just be the person that I've built today, like through personal growth. So, yeah.
That was vulnerable.
Yeah, that's true though.
The first thing that comes to my mind is the movie Taken.
Don't even say that. That's honestly what came to my mind too when I heard it.
If that happened to Amy, I'd be making phone calls and be like, "I will find you."
Yeah, yeah. Seriously.
I can't even imagine.
That movie's so bad though. Like that's not the situation. But
I think it's a good movie.
Oh, I'm saying it's bad, like bad situation.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and then going back to.
But I just think we live in a society where I personally, like, my issue is not that, you know, she had to come back and isolate. I think that's actually perfectly appropriate, right? You've been traveling internationally, you know, the exposure rate on airplanes is really big.
Yeah.
I get it. But to be taken against your will, with unmarked, no badges, unmarked like car or van, white van. Whatever, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just cynical in how I think, but I'm like, anybody with a white van and a uniform could show up and start abducting people and claim it was the government, and that freaks me out. I don't know.
Yeah.
And we're not conspiracy theorists at all.
We have family members that are, but
but I just, you know, I think when I think of Canada, I don't think of a place where the government's going to come and take you away and stick you up in a hotel or whatever they've done and then bill you for it after. it just seems a little bit out of character for a democracy, if that's a fair way to say it.
Yeah.
A little out of character.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So, and I mean, that might be controversial. If you have any thoughts on that, certainly comment on the video. We'd love to have a conversation with you.
Totally.
But, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with like the fact that there's new vaccinations coming out every week, it feels like, and like more hope with people getting access to them.
And then they get
and then they
sideswiped with this like
negativity,
this fear, whatever it is, and it's like they're playing on fear, and it's so sad because I hate living a life of fear, and I'm not going to allow that to dictate my life and where we're going and what our vision is, what our 2021 will look like, because we are in control of our actions, right? Yeah. We're in control of our future, not the government. It
feels like it's perfect timing for me because I just watched a number of episodes of The Hunger Games.
Oh my gosh.
And right, for anybody that's seen them, if you haven't seen it, you know, there's some entertainment value there. But there's some themes around rebellion and utilizing fear to control people. And I was just like, that's kind of the perfect analysis or like analogy for what is going on. Like, there's so much fear today.
So much.
Like 2 years ago, it didn't feel like this.
No, definitely not.
People are afraid to talk to each other. People are afraid to see each other. People are afraid to associate. People are afraid to go to the store.
Yeah, and anxiety, mental health, everything is like and like even.
And maybe a quick story. I went to my work office for the first time in like a month.
Right. Today. Yeah.
And man, it was like it was almost like people had blinders on. I'd walk around the office and, you know, only a few people even acknowledged and said hello, and it's been like a month, and I'm thinking, what is going on?
Where's the life?
It's almost like this culture of like, because we're not supposed to be close to each other, we're not supposed to, you know, we have to wear a mask at all times. It's like we've lost our ability to connect.
Even more.
Yeah.
Like, cause like,
I don't know. It was so different than what I'm used to. And so I'm reminded of these movies. And of course there was a line, and I'm going to butcher it, but there's a line that went something along the lines like, in order for the whole system of fear to fail, there just needs to be a drop of hope. That hope is what's stronger than the fear.
Always, yeah.
And I think maybe that's why you and I we've actually managed quite well during the last year and some. And I think that's because we have high hopes. We have high hopes for this year. We have high hopes for our marriage, for our finances, for our family, for our business, for everything that we do. We have such high hopes for our faith.
Yeah.
You know, God conquers fear, right?
Always.
And so we're just, but it's crazy to see what's going on.
Yeah, my heart goes out to the family. My heart goes out to like
sure.
the people that are dealing with that, and potentially might have encounter that in the future. Like that's just ugh.
And I'm still trying to make my mind up on it because it almost feels sensational. Like, did that actually happen?
Totally. Yeah, totally.
So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll find an article on it and I'll link it in the description below.
Yeah.
So if you want to look into it some more, but
yeah, totally.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, and like going back to it's like you're sharing that fear and all that stuff. And it's like everyone has this overwhelming amount of fear over the last 12 months plus.
Yeah.
And anxiety and mental health has just like skyrocketed. And I had a conversation with a friend today, and we were talking about mental health and everything. And the conversation kind of led to, I said, I believe that everyone battles with anxiety. Everyone battles with it to some degree. But I do believe that the last 12 months of like ups and downs of restrictions, of like lockdowns, of all this other stuff that's been going on, have put people in the place of like really discovering it for themselves, because it's taken them out of their comfort zone. It's taken them out of their every day-to-day stuff, which is a good thing and potentially a bad thing. I believe every discovery of yourself is a good thing because you can overcome it. And it's something, it's like the skeletons in the closets. Like they need to be, like it needs to be aired out. You need to know it and like see it to overcome it. But that's just my mindset and how I always see things that are going on in our lives and everything. But talking about anxiety, and just that state, I find that it's a good thing to be aware of, but also to know that it doesn't define you. And I was sharing this with her, and because dealing with like a little bit of anxiety, almost panic attack, reading that article today with my friend, having a conversation with my friend, and then reading that article beforehand, and dealing with like a little bit of anxiety and panic attack in that moment. I didn't like stop and say, I stopped myself and be like, but this doesn't define who I am, and doesn't make me less of a person, if that makes sense. It makes me more real, more able to really connect with more people and be open to it. Right?
It's an empathy thing.
Totally.
Right? You're able to have more empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's heavy.
Anyways, on a brighter note, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Please subscribe and like.
Subscribe, comment.
Check us out on Instagram. We've got lots of Instagram channels.
Yeah, Alex has dove into a few
I'll link our main one below.
Yeah.
But